Live the life you've yet to dream. The question isn't whether you want success, money, or happiness. It's not the question. We all want it. We all want to be happy. We all want to be successful. It's not the question. The question is how to do it. That's the question. Some people choose the best, worst choice to get in there. And that is they have a stiff upper lip and they badge a whole lot of positive energy and they brush forward. They push through the top. And I'm not saying that won't work. It will work. I did that. I've done that. But I can tell you that process is expensive and you won't have as much as your others would have. Now, some people spend every day lamenting yesterday's woes. This happened yesterday, that happened yesterday, it's stealing my happiness today. And it sure is. If that's your process, you don't have much chance at all of being happy and successful. Myself, I've had a wonderful life. I think truly most people in this world would envy my life. I have no doubt about it. I'm aware of what I have. I'm also aware that it wasn't always easy. But man, did I learn a lot from those tough times. I'm the guy there with the McGarrett 5-0 haircut right there. I love those hair days. It's been a long time now. But I think back in my childhood and some of the tough spots I dealt with, I was a little kid, and my dad was the definition of abuse. We didn't just get verbally abused or whipped with a belt. He beat us with his fist and his feet. My mother was a bad alcoholic. Well, what's bad alcoholic mean? She had a propensity to want to commit suicide when she was drinking or not drinking. And I can recall at an 8 and 9-year-old kid having to try to talk mama out of trying to commit suicide. I can remember at 13 years old, this is vividly clear to me, mom had taken a big overdose of pills and was out. We dragged her, me and my 14-year-old sister dragged her out to the car, got her in the car, drove her to the hospital and got there in time. That was a successful time. I remember feeling guilty for being afraid, for looking out for me. When I was wrestling the .38 pistol out of her hand, she's trying to shoot herself. And me and my sister are both fighting to get the gun out of her hand. And in the middle of all that, I felt guilty because I thought about me. Later in life, my teenage years, I came down with an otherworldly case of obsessive compulsive disorder. Not like what you see on TV. There was nothing fun about this, nothing comical. It was tough. And it got more and more disabling. By I'm 25 years of age, I'm almost immobile. So I ended up having 2 quasi-experimental brain surgeries over 20 hours. It took a year to recover. So you may say, John, that doesn't sound like a good life. But I'm telling you it was. It's a fabulous life. Because I learned something through that process. I started learning collective momentum at a young age. Probably 5 years old when I first started learning this. If you take all your energy and put it behind the same ball, it moves quicker, faster, and easier. As I've grown and matured, my understanding of this has gotten better and better and better. There are times that are very significant with your collective momentum. Pivot points. I had one when I was 15 years old. I'm sitting in Broadmoor High School in Miss Smith's chemistry class. I'm a class cut-up. And I see this brown-haired girl in front of me, and I just knew it. I said, that's the kind of girl you'd marry. I never questioned it. I just knew that was the type of girl you'd marry. As we go through collective momentum and pivot points, you'll see I was operating on that basis. Now, once you have your momentum in order, in other words, you know what you're pursuing, there are going to be times when things get in the way. Kind of like Michael Jordan on the basketball court. He's driving across center court, and defenders come in, he has to pivot. We have to pivot as well. And understanding these pivots and the use of them is very important toward getting your momentum in the direction you want to go. There's 8 pivot points. One is the last 4 hours. Others reflection. Dreaming without restraint. Courage, control, honesty, impatient focus, and momentum changers. Now, a momentum changer is this. When you come upon a pivot that is so powerful that it changes your life forever, that's a momentum changer. When I met my girlfriend, my wife, at 15 years old, that was a momentum changer. I wouldn't have any of the life I have today without her and without that change. Well, why start out at the last 4 hours of your life? Can you imagine getting there and saying coulda, shoulda, woulda? Very important, because this is going to help you to determine your momentum. I'll share with you mine. Everybody's can be different, but I think they'll all be similar. I thought about it. I don't want to be the kind of spouse I'd like to have had. That's really important to me. I want to be the kind of daddy I'd like to have had. And that's not enough. I have to leave this earth helping hundreds of thousands of people to have a life that otherwise wouldn't have. So we're going to explore collective momentum and the pivot points. I'm going to show you how to use these as we go through this. If you choose to adopt this, it can do nothing less than change your life. It won't be fast. It won't be quick. It won't really be easy, but it's double effective. Courage. Of all the pivots, I don't know, this might not be the most important one. For all of us, courage. Courage is not the lack of fear. Courage is going forward in the face of fear. You have to be courageous to dream without restraint. If you dream within the confines of what you think you can do, or what other people tell you can do, that's not a dream. That's a nightmare. I was reflecting in 7th grade. I guess it was a tough time. I say I guess, it didn't feel like it. But I got my report card in 4th hour in it was science class. And I wasn't much of a student. I was A, B, and C student. I got my report card, and I had a D on it. I was ashamed of me. I said, good gosh, a D? You're not that stupid. And it really jolted me extra hard enough to where I was willing to face and look at that thing that had been following me and haunting me my entire life. I turned around and looked at it. And I realized this. I did not feel good about me. And I admitted that. It felt like jelly doing it, but I didn't feel good about me. So I sat there in 4th hour class, really disappointed at John. And I started looking around. And I said, you know what, that boy over there, I'm stronger than him. That boy over there, I can run faster than him. That boy over there, I'm even smarter than him. I thought, you know what? When I come to school in 8th grade, I'm making straight A's. I'm going to do my homework, bust my can, I'm making straight A's. And I'm going to tell myself all summer long, I'm something special. Now, that may not sound like a lot to you, but in my household, on a daily basis, I was told I was less than dirt. So I remember I said, you're special, John. And right now, as I tell you this, the hair stands up on my arms, on the back of my neck. I can feel it. You're special, John. All summer. But week after week, it got easier. I can remember being in my bathroom with my blue sink, brushing my teeth, saying, you're something special, John. I started to believe this, believe it or not. I'm reading my big brother's yearbook, and it says in there how funny he was. Everybody comments on how funny Bill was. I said, you know what? I'll be funny next year, too. Man, I started 8th grade on the verge of cocky. Really did. And I busted my can studying. I did my best. I made 4 A's and 3 B's. But I was happy. That was my best. Look at my 8th grade yearbook, though, and almost everybody in there talked about how funny I was. So how would you apply this in your life, your job? Maybe you're at a job where you want to apply for another position, a higher level in the company. And maybe you're nervous you're not good enough, smart enough, quick enough. Take the courage to do so. It's not that difficult once you do. Now, compromise might be the dirtiest word I know. Now, we're all told to compromise from this high up, right? Compromise, it's a dirty, dirty, dirty word. If you compromise about your values, it's a dirty word, and do not do it. I'll never forget my sister Carrie. She graduated from high school with a very high grade point average. And she was excited. She told my dad, she goes, Dad, I'm going to be a doctor. And Dad said, well, you can't. She said, why not? He said, because you're a woman and you're not smart enough. So what did Carrie do? She shifted focus from being a doctor, from being a doctor to being a nurse. My sister became an admirable nurse, great nurse. Matter of fact, years later, she went back to school to become a nurse anesthetist. She graduated with a 4.0 average, only one of two people. Does anybody think she wasn't smart enough to be a doctor? See, only my dad thought that. But the fact of the matter is, my dad didn't compromise, my sister compromised. She made that choice. It's very important to be honest with yourself, very important, because dishonesty is powerfully dangerous over time. Think about a sequoia tree. If you take one swing of an axe with a sequoia tree, what happens? That's one lie. But lie after lie after lie will chop down the biggest of trees. So how can you apply this in your workplace compromise? I think one good way is this. If you're in an environment where you have coworkers and people are talking bad about another coworker, don't compromise. Don't do it. You may not think that benefits you, but it does. And it benefits those around you. Control. Man, I still have the hair going. You see that hair? It's amazing. I just wish I'd enjoyed my hair back more in the day. I look at it now, I think it's so pretty. That's me at 5, my big sister at 6, and my brother at 11. And at this time this picture was taken, the three of us found ourselves in a very, very tight broom closet. And we're horrified, and we're scared out of our wits, and there's no help to be found. We're crying nonstop. I look up at my big sister. I just can't get over the size of the tears coming out of her eyes. And I thought, I've got to help my big sister. So I decided that I'm going to tell her, babe, it's going to be okay. So I tried to steady myself. I looked up at her, and all I got out was bae, and then I lost it. Because over her right shoulder, I saw my big brother, or Rock, and he was crying nonstop. Now, what were we crying about? On the other side of the door, we could hear my father cursing my mama real bad. And then we could hear a chair knocked over, a plate smashed. I'm 53 years old. I remember the sound 48 years later perfectly well. His fist hitting her face. And the sound my mama made as he hit her. And as she fell to the ground, she's begging him, Norman, please, Norman, please. The third time she begged, he kicked her in the stomach hard enough to stop her from begging. All my adult life, I've regretted that. All my adult life, I felt terrible for not helping mama. Up to just a few months ago. But taking my own medicine, understand, I couldn't control that. So my ability to recognize what I can control, what I can't control, gives me freedom, right? Thing is, I wasn't always in a state of non-control. Another great hair picture. I'm dating my girlfriend here. I'm 16 years old. And I'm on the phone in my bedroom talking to her after school, as I often did. And I can hear my father berating my baby brother at the table for the way he's eating. Tom had a bad overbite, so he smacked. And Dad got angry with him. He thumped him on the head. And then suddenly I hear my dad's chair throw back. And my little brother start running. I told my girlfriend, got to go. Don't think for a moment I wasn't afraid. In my entire 53-year-old life, that's my scariest moment in my life right then. Because confronting my dad was like confronting a beast that would kill you. But I realized, my little brother's 9. No way he can protect himself. I wasn't so sure I could. So I'm running towards the kitchen. Tom passed me up in the hallway. I see my dad in the den. I still can't believe it. I didn't hesitate. I grabbed him in a headlock. And we're pushing back and forth, back and forth. And I still, in my own mind, this is a humorous thing I said to myself. This could be real bad. This could be real bad, John. Well, after a few moments, he kind of got tired. It was over. And the next day, I come home from school, and he goes, JC, you know what that was all about yesterday? And I said, no, Dad, I don't know. What was it about? Because I'm still terrified. He said, you know you have that OCD, that obsessive-compulsive disorder? I said, yes, sir. That's because all you can think about is yourself. I wanted to see if you could think about somebody else. Now, I didn't believe him, but it was a pretty crummy feeling nonetheless. So how would you apply this? How would you apply this control? As I've already said, control what you can control. When you can't control something, let it go. See, we're born in life with a certain amount of energy, right? Oh, we have a certain amount of energy. Why would I go invest my energy in a negative entity? If I get nothing back, why do that? It's a mental calisthenics. You just don't invest in bad. You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't invest in a car that has no tires and no engine. You wouldn't invest money for a new paint job without an engine first. So the bottom line is, no matter where you are, where you've come from, it doesn't matter. Nobody in this room, on this earth, does it matter where you came from. It's not what matters. We've been led to believe that our whole life, we're swinging on a pendulum, just whichever way it goes is our life. Not the case. We're in control of our lives, and it's how you respond to what happens to you that controls your life. I was reflecting back when I was 14 years old. Another great hair picture. That's a ton of hair there. Look how it's flowing, man. That is a lot of hair. But I was reflecting on my track meet and track career. I ran AAU track. So this is going to summarize what we talked about thus far. This collective momentum and its energy. Why is it important? Is it important? Can it affect your life? Can it be a momentum changer? This is the largest momentum changer in my life. I'm 14 years old. I run AAU track for 5 years. AAU track is the toughest in the country. You run against the best of the best. I got creamed every race. I worked out as hard as any of my team, but come time of the race, I'd say, "What's your time? What's your time?" I was short. Everybody was faster than me. And I was afraid to run the race the way Coach said because I was afraid I'd burn out. In other words, I'd run and lose my energy. But I said, "You know, John, for 5 years you busted your can. You got creamed every single meet. You didn't even look forward to the meets. This last meet, I'm going to run this race exactly how the coach said run it. I'm not going to worry about winning or losing. I've lost before. But if I burn out, I can't get any worse than last." So I got my lane assignment. Lane 7. That's not a great lane. Didn't let it bother me. Got in the blocks. Runners, mark, get set. And I'm telling you, 40-something years later, I can still remember the gun going off. And for the first time ever in my track career, I was going as fast as I could possibly sprint. Sprinting really fast as I could go. I came around the corner where now the other boys should be making up the stagger. I don't see them. I'm thinking, where are they? I can't believe I've done this good. This is incredible. I get to the point where you're supposed to slow down. I think, I don't want to. I've never done this good. I did slow down a little bit. But when I crossed the line that day, that was the first and the last time I ever won an AAU race. 20 years later, I'm in my truck. I'm a remodeler, construction work. I'm thinking about that track meet. I'm living my life like my mama did. I'm worried every day, worried sick. I'm worried morning, noon, and night. Wake up in the middle of the night worried. I thought, you know what, John? Dude, you're going to live your life like that track meet. Every single thing you do, you're going to do the best you can. It doesn't matter win or lose. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have this. I have the family of my dreams. I've got the wife of my dreams, the kids of my dreams, and I'm helping other people. So I close it this way. I share my collective momentum with you, my pivot points with you, and leave it at your doorstep. Take it and make it what you will. Thank you.